clock on the
Clock
wall.
says that it's time to begin. Uh,
Um,
Seem to progressively lose attendance, which indicates to me that this is not,
Well, it's not a routine time as of now, this Sunday afternoon
well,
thing, but
we've run it for about 3 months, and it started out with some enthusiasm but hadn't maintained. So we uh, are are probably going to shift. Linnell and I are having, Woody, this is in regard to your thing about the soul without shame, uh, that this time may not be a good time to even offer a class the way our personal lives are going. So this may be the swan song uh, for this time slot for the time being. And we'll go back to the Saturday. So
we'll let you know.
I think that you, Tommy, and
Uh,
Alice and Matthew have
Yeah,
been
yeah.
the mainstays, and
And we appreciate
we
that.
appreciate that. But well, I've been glad to get to explore some of these longer meditations, and
yeah.
And they're certainly accessible to anybody
anybody
on
you've got a
YouTube,
taste.
if,
Mm.
um, which, we sometimes do on our
On
own.
our own.
So,
But
anyway,
to me, they're
Like,
extremely valuable because they're things that simply happen neurologically, uh, that take at least 25 minutes to begin to happen. And the shorter meditations are not going to get you there.
yeah,
And just encouraging people to get into that time length and
yeah.
also to begin to explore, you know, uh, long periods of quiet over a weekend. They call it royal silence. When you're at a retreat center, you'll put on a badge,
Noble.
noble silence, that says,
I'm in noble
I'm in,
silence.
don't talk to me, don't interrupt it. So the brain, when it gets those talk centers
ah,
off for a long period of time, begins to quiet down.
this is good because I can use the.
Hmm. Okay.
Say, so we will go ahead. We've got Adyashanti today. Again, part of why I started this thing was, again, the nature of the self as emptiness and the description of emptiness. Um, I may pull some of that in on Saturday. This is how my mind works. I got about 16 files open on what I'm trying to get across. And that's because of the Heart Sutra. Emptiness is form, form is emptiness. What does that mean? Because that's so alien to our Western concept of, of self, that the self could simply be a space, that it's not a thing. It's certainly not emotions. It's not the brain. That's something totally different. But the idea that the self is what's aware of the brain, and to begin to experience from that point of view is is totally disorienting once you start trying to do it. Uh, I'm not what I'm looking at. I'm what's looking at this thing, and that shifts your orientation. So we're going to hear Adyashanti's take on this.
Okay.
I like Adyashanti.
So let me go ahead and silence everyone. All right, 30 minutes, so make yourself comfortable.
Of what we call ourselves. The nature of this thing called me. And so we have an understanding of how to go about this. That the spiritual question is actually there to help direct awareness, to direct consciousness, we could say, in a particular direction, to shine light on something. It's the nature and it's the reason for the spiritual question, for the inquiry. So we must let go of seeking for quick answers. We go directly into this thing called me, when we shine awareness directly inside, to find out what is the nature of this me, of oneself. It is easy to find a thought. It's easy to feel a feeling. It's easy to find the tip of your toe or the palm of your hand if someone was to ask you where it was. In this meditation, we're looking for ourself. And we're looking inside. So attention gets directed inside. Where is this thing called self? Me. Surely it's not simply a thought, a feeling. Surely one is not simply a body. For there is always something more primary. There is what's seeing the thought, that which is feeling the feeling. There is that which is aware of the body. And so attention gets directed inward. What is that that notices a thought? What is that that feels a feeling? What is it that is aware of a body? What is this thing called me, called I? And as we direct attention inward, we find something unexpected. That the more we look for the essential nature of ourselves, the more we look for ourselves, the less we find. you look inside, what am I really, truly, without recourse to some past explanation, some theory, some dogma, but in one's own actual experience? Where is this me? And if you do this, as you do this, actually all we find is more silence. This elusive self never seems to appear. The more we look for ourself, the less we find of it. Instead, we seem to bump into an ineffable mystery, a silence. A void. And yet, what is it that notices that void, that silence? What is it that is aware? Can we find a someone? Can we find a something? As we look from our own experience, we keep not locating this owner of awareness, this owner of consciousness, this me. And in this looking, our whole definition of ourself is wordlessly called into question. This whole definition of ourself, however we define it, must be called into question, because when we look for it, we don't find it. We have assumed that we are a something and a somebody. But meditation is the opportunity to look within for yourself and to find out, is it true? Is there a somebody? So through your looking within, you're presented with a mystery. You can't find yourself, and yet, whatever you are is obviously here, obviously aware. Whatever it may be, whatever you are, obviously is here. This confuses the mind because the mind only thinks in terms of you being a thing, being a someone. You may notice that it's very difficult for your mind to think in terms of you, of self, being other than a thing, being other than a someone or somebody. This is very difficult for the mind. But as we look in this way, our whole notion of self can begin to transform. Because you begin to see for your own self that what you are isn't a somebody, isn't a something, it cannot be found. So what is there in the absence of the somebody? What is there in the absence of something? This that notices the absence of self, this awareness that notices the complete lack of entity. It's an opportunity to open to what you are beyond a thought. That maybe you are not a thing at all, a somebody at all. It cannot be found. So maybe, just maybe, you never were a something or a somebody. Maybe it can't be found because it doesn't exist. And your whole definition of yourself is then called into question. What then could this thing called I be? So this questioning, this investigation leads you to the end point, to the place where there is no entity, where there is no somebody. to that place where what you are certainly is, whether you know what it is or not, whether you understand self or not, it is. It's not a thing. It's not a somebody. It is the absence of somebodies, the absence of things. The complete absence of definitions. So this meditation takes you to the absence of definitions. And there is an invitation to just rest there, to stop there. Not to think about it, not to define it, but stop. In that place where there's no definition. In that place where you can't find yourself as a thing or somebody. Just to stop there. Don't resist it. Don't run away from it. Don't try to figure it out. Just stop there.
Well, didn't that explain a lot without answering anything? Pretty deep. I always knew that I defied definition.
There you go. Now you know why.
I don't exist. No, I really enjoyed that. The first time I heard him, I was just almost irritated. You know, he was hard for me to follow. And every time I listen, I have become more fond of who he is and what he has to offer.
Yeah.
Just
Adyashanti?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's you know, it's part of what I was reflecting on is we have the same problem with God, and we keep wanting to make God into a body or a thing or something identifiable. And this concept of just awareness and spaciousness doesn't quite fill the bill for us, you know. And yet, when you settle into it, there is such freedom and such peace and such expansiveness and delight and curiosity that you don't miss the markers that we normally look for comfort or security. It's hard to explain. It would be like being an earthbound creature who is suddenly having to get used to flying, and all the things in the body that oriented towards safety, like feeling your feet on the earth or the push of gravity or the contraction of muscles in the legs, were gone, were totally irrelevant. And instead, were a whole new set of sensations that you'd been longing for, had a sense of its possibility, had been missing, that it was kind of delightful to be back in and explore. At least that's how I kind of sense it at times. It's I've had intimations of it and the possibility of it, and now it's here. So anyhow, one of my favorite poems is in a book by Hermann Hesse called Journey to the East. And he talks about, I've been to all these wonderful places in the world, but then I come back and talk to the peasants in the field and nobody believes me. And he says the final line is, inexperience will give little credence to my song. That we begin to enter into places that can't be verbally described, that transcend verbal definitions. They can be grasped mythically. And that's what Carl Jung began to understand. He said the archetype for the self with a capital S and for God, he said they're the same. And Emerson made the same comment. He said the eye that I look out and I see God is the same eye that God looks in and sees me. That there's a transparency of awareness that's internal and external at the same time. And again, it can kind of poetically be navigated, which is why I love the Sufi writers. Such a beautiful job of describing it metaphorically and poetically, but it's difficult terrain.
It's mystical, and that's what I took to. There's just no language for.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's ineffable.
yeah.
And you
Ineffable.
use that word, yeah.
You use which word, Linnell?
Ineffable.
Oh, ineffable.
Can't be talked about. Which makes sense. Even there was a logical positive as the guy named Wittgenstein. And he started this whole thing. He says things that can be talked about need to be talked about very carefully. and things that can't be talked about shouldn't be talked about.
We're trying.
And so he was basically saying with things like the self or with God, we need to just shut up and let it be a mystery.
Yeah, he said, not trying so hard.
And I was trying during some of that meditation to put what he was trying to say. But he wasn't trying to say it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was trying to put what his words were into words that, and there, I did give up.
Yeah, you do. And
Yeah.
but what's important, Woody, is that you have that sense of self. There is beyond the words this undeniable experience of reality that is there, of awareness that is there, that's always there. And that's what he's pointing us to, is that you're sitting in it. You know it. You are intimately connected with it. When it's not there, you're not there. And that's kind of how you begin to have a sense that, when words aren't there, I'm still here. When emotions aren't here, I'm still here. When I'm not aware of my body, I'm still here. The I of I am, what I am is that awareness. When I'm not aware, I don't exist. If you notice, when you fall asleep and you go into a deep sleep, there is no sense of self. Well, what is it that's missing?
Awareness.
Awareness. Yeah, and yet even at that level, we know there's some awareness that persists because, like I say, you hear the baby whine in a particular way that is not usual, and you wake yourself up. Or you hear a noise in the house, you wake yourself up. The awareness is still there, but there's no awareness of awareness. That's what's missing. The parts of the brain that allow us to be aware of being aware are missing, but awareness is still present. Go figure.
Welcome, Talbot and Robert.
So
Yeah.
we were saying earlier that this is probably our swan song, that we were trying to decide what to do, that this isn't working as well as that we had wanted to. You've been loyal followers as well, but that we had a chance to explore these kinds of meditations. And I think that's been successful, but we're going to explore some other things to do now. So we're constantly redefining ourselves. So welcome to our mutable world.
Yep.
No pun intended. Would you like to mute everybody?
I like what you mentioned, Woody, about you were trying to do it and then you gave up. I don't know, sometimes I don't talk loud enough on these things, but did you hear what I said?
Yeah, you're good.
Because that's been a big theme for me. I think because of Rupert Spira and Adyashanti, that the notice of trying, quote unquote, trying to meditate through an egoic mind and body. And I think Adyashanti said one day, it's happening whether you like it or not. Like it's happening automatically without you. And that was like a new thing. It was very helpful. I mean, it kind of was like, oh, I spent 5 years turning plan B back into plan A.
Everybody. And so what he's referring there is that we've got personalities that want to solve everything by thinking and doing, which is what our culture has reinforced. And when you think and do, you're automatically in your traumatized part of your brain. That's what we don't understand. It's not about virtue. It's not about effort. It's simply that the part of your brain that experiences awareness is not connected to the fight or flight part of your brain. So when I'm in fight or flight, I'm disconnected from the part of me that's going to be able to settle into simply being. So that flow of being, that flow state that emerges when we go ventral, we have that sense of safety and that sense of of that we can let go of thinking and doing. Then it emerges spontaneously. And so the Buddhists really describe it as the emergence of enlightenment, that it's something that's in you that wants to be expressed, that you don't have to create, you don't have to understand. It will do the work if you will stop trying and stop thinking. So it's we're always seduced back into wanting the ego, wanting to take control of it, and then feeling frustrated when it's just simply a matter of brain, just simply a matter of where you are in your brain. And I like the way neuroscience has simplified that for us. It's not virtue. It's not how long you study meditation. It's not what meditation or retreat center you go to. It's not what teacher. It's not what form. It's can you simply trust? Can you let go of control? Trust is the operative word, not faith. There's nothing to believe in. There's nothing to study. It's the matter to simply go, whoosh. And that's why your somatic things are more effective, like the Watsu that Linnell did in Costa Rica, where you have a guy in a pool who just moves your body like this while you're floating on water.
Okay.
It doesn't seem like much, but it teaches you all the ways that you're holding on, that you're trying to control, and your body has to learn to surrender, to allow yourself to be moved by the energies. That will teach you more than any lecture you go to. The same way with massage, with learning how to float. But I think Watsu is still one of the best things in the world for teaching trust. That thing, lie back, daughter, lie back in the cup of my hand, and I will hold you. And as fear cramps your heart on your long thrasher island, lie back, and the sea will hold you. That's the whole point. And so there are people who try to tell me that they've got meditation. You look at their bodies and say they've never once gone, take me. Totally surrendered. And that's the connection between surrender to trust and this whole process. You can study everything, but without trust, it's never going to happen.
Yeah.
And it's like I say, if you can sit and convince yourself you know how to trust, study how to float, do all that kind of stuff. It's not the same thing as getting in there and dealing with the fear and and all those things. That's what your meditation is, moving through those periods where habitual fear in the brain emerges, and instead of this, we do this instead of doing this, we do this.
Anyway, what's like has anybody else had that? I mean, Bart knows it, and he's been trying to tell me about it for 5 years. And but I mean, have y'all had that physical experiential distinction between you meditating with your mind and body and then it just happening automatically without like it feels like another dimension. Has anybody experienced that besides Bart and Linnell?
I
Okay.
think I do.
I think you may be making too much of it, Matthew, and it's going to happen incrementally in moments where you suddenly realize that I was out in spaciousness, and it was a moment of self-forgetfulness, but at the same time, profound connection and vitality and aliveness. I don't know if that's what you're sensing, Woody.
Yes, but it's not like it happens every time I meditate.
No,
Not at all.
no,
Don't, it's happened to me 3 or 4 times,
yeah.
and it's beautiful. And then I want it to happen so badly again. And then I try really hard.
Yeah, try. That's
And
the
then,
second.
That always works.
The
Yeah.
problem.
So, yeah.
yep,
That's the second obstacle is when you have it and then you're trying to get back to it,
Yeah.
and then there's the trying again. So you're more likely to have it out in nature. Nature's the number one place where when you feel that safety and you just totally allow yourself to merge with what you're experiencing. Okay. It'll happen in lovemaking. The mystics all say at that moment of orgasm, when you totally let go into an orgasm, there's no difference between that and what you're doing in meditation. That's one of the reasons it feels so good. Okay. It happens with art, with music, where there's that sense of being overwhelmed and taken by it, and you cry, and the bumps move up on your arm. That's it too. It happens in moments of deep communion with another person, where words are almost unnecessary, and you're feeling, we call it vibing now, when you're doing deep vibing with another person. I mean, spiritual experiences are happening all the time. We've lost the naming of it. We've lost the valuing of it. We've lost the significance of the moments. So it never builds to anything. And we think that we're arrogant in claiming that as a spiritual experience. And you're not. The ordinary is the extraordinary. They're not separate. They're interwoven. Does
Yeah.
that resonate with anyone?
It never has with me. You've been telling me that for 5 years, and I'm not arguing in one bit. I totally believe you. It just seems like something that I've always had to let go of because I would judge myself. I'm like, I'm doing something wrong. I can't. Bart keeps telling me this story that doesn't resonate with me.
Okay.
And so it must be on me, but I've just had to let go of that because it's not for me right now. So I don't know what else to say
Let
about
me,
that.
let me point. Can I get personal with you in front of
Yeah,
my?
yeah, you can do it. You
Okay.
can do it.
Well, you remember the time when we were sitting at that little creek where you had helped me across, and we just sat on the rock with each other,
and Austin.
Yeah,
and we were semi holding each other, and people were coming down the path, and we were joking about they're going to think we're gay lovers or something.
yeah.
And there was that sweetness of the connection that we had in nature, all of which was a part, the sun shining. What about that moment?
Touche,
Okay, thank you.
touche, touche. Well, that will bring me, it begs another question. Nature was involved and another person was involved. And I'm not knocking that it can't be done in isolation. I spend most of my life pretty isolated. And so I don't have anything to say about it, but what do you say about that? Like,
What I say is, it's a trinity, Matthew. I'm a Unitarian when it comes to ultimate reality. I'm a Trinitarian when it comes to how we experience that ultimate reality. So when Rumi uses the word friend, he's talking about three different dimensions. Okay, the friend in another person. Linnell, when for me, I embodied the sacred for you at that moment. That's Christ energy. That's someone opening that resonance to enable you to begin to vibe at that level. Okay? So that's what Christ energy is for each other. Nature, my daughter calling me, sorry.
Side button.
So you're experiencing there, nature to me is God the Father. Okay? That is the sacred embedded, those vibrational energies embedded in nature, which we now know is what's necessary even for physical health. is that we reconnect with that matrix that we emerge from, okay? And it's only after those kind of awakenings that you begin to have an awakening of the Holy Spirit. So what you're saying is very much what the Epistle of James says. We are able to love because he has loved us first.
Yeah.
We could have kept that awareness that we had as children and that the animals have if we hadn't been wounded. If our
Yeah.
amygdalas weren't like, we would have kept that energy. But once we've learned to fear, then we're like the guy, I believe, help thou my unbelief. I can't get out of this by myself.
Yeah.
I need someone to prime the pump, okay?
Yeah.
And so
So
that's
that's
what
what you're
sanctuaries
saying.
do. That's what other people do. That's what nature does. Nature becomes that context that reawakens it for us. It's never lost. It's that something we need to feel the support of an external container. The heart needs a container to pour itself into. Okay. And once it learns that journey, once we keep repeatedly taking that journey, then we can begin to do it ourselves. So that's why you have a puja table. A puja table is people who you've awakened a heart connection with.
It's
Hmm.
And for,
altar.
for you, and other place you experience it is with your nephew and niece.
Mm.
Hmm. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So, um, like I said, the ordinary is the extraordinary.
Yeah, that tracks. Everything you said tracks. Yeah, it's you, two things came to mind. You're wounded in relationship and you heal in relationship. And you can, I love the phrase. It's not really very all encompassing, but I still like the phrase, you alone can do the work, but you can't work alone. Like,
The
you,
paradox. The
yeah,
paradox.
it's just, that's very helpful. Now I can add what you just said to that other idea of, anyway, I can't express it, but yeah, that made sense. Like nature and other, you have to, that pump has to be primed, and we're able to love because he first loved us, and you just can't do it in a vacuum alone, I
No.
think is what you're saying.
There you
But
go.
where it's only you can do it is you have to take the risk of trusting.
Yeah,
No one can do that. I have to let go of the fear. That's what no one can do for you.
yeah,
Okay. No one can let go of the shame for you. No one
yeah,
can let go of the anger for you. All the stuff that's blocking us, that's our work.
yeah.
Okay.
On that note, I've thought about, I just during the, I know we're wrapping up. I have pulled up these emails from a long time ago that Ellen put together from everybody in the Sangha who gave their email. And on that note, I was wondering if anybody would like to meditate tomorrow, either at 10 a.m. or 2 p.m. And I can send out my own link. It doesn't need to be this Zoom link, so y'all don't have to be involved. But I really have had a lot of trouble med sticking to a practice. And I know that you've often preached, Bart, you don't have to meditate more. You can meditate no matter what you're doing. But it's so helpful to practice with other people. Like I haven't been able to meditate in 3 or 4 days. And that's pretty rare for me. Usually I have a daily to every other day
Okay.
practice, but sitting down with y'all, I was able to be here and able to meditate. And so I was like, oh shit, maybe some of these people can meditate with me during the week to help.
Rather than reinvent the wheel, and let's hold that, bring that up with the Sangha on Saturday.
Yeah,
Rather than reinvent the wheel, Father Kennedy,
yeah, yeah,
their Sangha meets, I think, at 8 o'clock New York time, which is 7 o'clock our time. Uh,
That's not good for you.
Not good for you, maybe.
Yeah.
But, and I may have the times wrong because I think it's 8 o'clock because they're always finishing when we start at 9 o'clock.
I don't know.
They're
I'd
finishing
have
when
to
we
look
start.
and see.
But anyhow, there are sanghas out there that are meditating at that time.
But
So
feel free to contact
yeah.
anybody.
I just thought the personal contact of like just if even two or three, it wouldn't be through y'all. You know what I mean? It would just be like an organic thing,
Yeah,
like, hey, do you guys want
gotcha.
to meditate at this thing? But
I
I
think
will
it's
look
a
up
great idea.
Father.
Yeah.
I will look up Father Kennedy's
It's
thing
Morning
again.
Star Zendo. Morning
Yeah.
Star Zendo.
Yeah, he can.
Just see.
Okay, well, let's ohm out. Glad y'all made it. Tonight is the Academy Awards.
I don't know.
I can tell it's big on your event calendars.
know.
Woody's going, what? Nickel, what?
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see.
Awarding what? Film
We'll
what?
see. We'll see.
All right.
right. Deep breath in. Mm.
Show off.
All right.
Nah.
Peace.
I wish I could do that. Love y'all.
Love you guys.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Thanks for getting here.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Thanks, Bart and Linnell.